This country, which resembles a cane on the map of South America, is Chile, the longest country in the world, stretching from north to south for 4,620 kilometers. Despite its extraordinary appearance, it is almost the same size as Turkey, with its area of 756,950 square kilometers. It might be a bit difficult to describe the country's length with numbers, but I can show you how big this landmass is. When I superimpose Chile onto the map of Europe, it stretches from Germany all the way to the border of Nigeria. When I place it horizontally on top of Europe, it reaches from Portugal to the border of Georgia, but ends within our country's borders. Despite its impressive length, only 90 million people living in this country. Chile, with its unique borders that fascinate map lovers like me, harbors many interesting things within. For example, it was the first country in Latin America to recognize Turkey on January 30, 1926. In Santiago, there is Republic of Turkish Square, Atatürk College, and an Atatürk Monument. On the other hand, due to its geographical boundaries extending to Antarctica, you can observe polar glaciers in the freezing cold of the southern regions of the country, while going on a safari in the rainless desert in the north for 400 years. Its flag is almost identical to that of the US state of Texas. Furthermore, here, women cannot use their husband's surnames after marriage. Yes, certainly, anyone looking at the world map facing South America has wondered about Chile due to its shape. Let me help you explore the extraordinary aspect of Chile. If you like to help me as well, you can subscribe to my channel and like the video. Due to its extreme length, it is only natural for Chile to have different climates. That's why there are rainless deserts in the northern regions, while the southern areas, due to their proximity to the cold subantarctic region just north of Antarctica, are home to glaciers. And therefore, it has various climates. Chile's proximity to Antarctica is not limited to the glaciers within its borders. Chile has a base in Antarctica. Moreover, they claim ownership of 1,250,000 square kilometers of Antarctica. The area that they claim as Chilean Antarctic territory is the region where they assert their territorial rights in Antarctica. The continent is not recognized as the territory of any country, but Chile is one of the 7 sovereign states that claim land in Antarctica. The other countries are Argentina, Australia, France, New Zealand, Norway, and the United Kingdom. As you know, many countries conduct scientific activities here, send scientists to Antarctica, and have temporary bases in these icy lands. Within the scope of the 3rd National Antarctic Science Expedition, Turkey established its temporary base on the White Continent and raised our flag. Returning to the subject, while Chile bases its claims on historical continuity, being a neighboring country to the region, and scientific evidence that the claimed territory of Graham Land is a continuation of the endless mountain range that runs through their country, these lands do not officially belong to Chile. Just as Chile claims territory in Antarctica, Spain once claimed these lands as well. It is known that people lived within the current borders of the country around 13,000 BC. Northern Chile belonged to the Inca Empire until shortly before the arrival of the Spaniards. The Inca Empire was the largest empire in the pre-Columbian America. They had a powerful army and an authoritarian structure, and like in ancient Egypt, they worshipped the sun and believed that their king was the son of the sun. In 1527, the arrival of the Spanish, who brought along some diseases, weakened the empire. Emperor Huayna Capac, who died before choosing his successor, saw his 2 sons engage in a power struggle for the throne, leading to the division of the empire into the north and south, which sparked a civil war in the Inca civilization. Following these events, the Spanish queen allowed Francisco Pizarro to conquer the Inca country in July 1529. When Pizarro and his men arrived in Peru in 1532, they were not perceived as a threat, but rather welcomed. This was because, according to Inca beliefs, the sun god Viracocha was expected to return one day from a distant place to bring peace and harmony. While Pizarro and the Inca emperor engaged in what seemed to be a friendly meeting, the Inca ruler was taken captive by the Spanish. From that point on, the Spanish employed a divide and conquer strategy to seize control of the land. Pizarro demanded a room full of gold as ransom for the emperor. Although the Incas fulfilled this demand, Pizarro broke his promise and executed the emperor on July 26, 1533. As I mentioned before, the emperor was seen as the earthly son of God and was regarded as a semi-god. The execution of an emperor meant great turmoil and chaos for the Incas. Taking advantage of this turmoil, the Spanish collaborated with separate forces and began to occupy the entire region. As a result, Chile became a Spanish colony for approximately 300 years. Initially, Chile was not considered a significant colony for the Spanish kingdom due to its limited gold and silver resources and its remote location. However, with the discovery of other agricultural products and minerals in the country, Chile became an important supply region for the Spanish. In the early 18th, the people of Chile began to express their desire for independence. Chile gained its independence on February 12, 1818, and in the years between 1879 and 1883, it conquered the Atacama Desert region from Peru and Bolivia during the Pacific War. As a result, Bolivia lost its coastal territories along the Pacific Ocean. Subsequently, rich copper deposits were discovered in these regions, and the world's largest copper mine is currently located within this area. So, what does a newly established country lack? Yes, you guessed right, troubles. In 1891, the Chilean Navy rebelled against President Balmaceda, leading to a civil war that resulted in the death of 6,000 people. When Balmaceda lost the battle, he committed suicide in September 1891. However, Chile's struggles continued. In 1893, border disputes with Argentina emerged. In 1902, King Edward VII of England meditated the problem, and Patagonia and Tierra del Fuego were divided between the two countries. Essentially, Argentina, without any land connection, was making territorial claims in distant Chilean territories. This issue was resolved when the territories were divided, with Chile receiving 54,000 km square and Argentina receiving 40,000 km square. Peru, Bolivia, and later Argentina lost these territories, and Chile continued to expand, becoming incredibly long. Looking at its geography, I can say that Chile is predominantly mountainous. The Andes mountain range runs through almost the entire country, naturally protecting its borders and making it difficult to invade. Today, Chile exhibits many characteristics typical of Latin American countries, having been colonized by the Spanish for approximately 300 years. Its culture is largely influenced by Spanish culture. However, indigenous culture still has an impact. The people are largely of mixed ethnicity, known as mestizo, which refers to offspring of two or more different ethnic groups, mainly of Spanish and indigenous descent. Chileans are ethnically a mix of Europeans and indigenous peoples. The first intermixing occurred in the 16th and 17th centuries among the indigenous tribes, predominantly with the Spanish arrivals. In the 18th century, Basque families who migrated to Chile revitalized the economy and became the political elite that still dominates the country. It is also worth mentioning that very few Africans were brought to Chile as slaves during the colonial period, which also helps understand the ethnic makeup. Now let me tell you a bit about Chile from a tourism perspective rather than a strategic one. If you decide to come here and witness the beauty of this country with your own eyes, what should you do? There is a tax exemption between Chile and Turkey, allowing you to visit Chile for up to 90 days without a visa. You must visit Torres del Paine National Park, the glaciers in Patagonia, the Atacama Desert, and of course Easter Island. Easter Island is one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth. Despite numerous studies, the purpose of the island's statues remains unknown. It is believed that these stone statues were constructed between the 11th and 17th centuries AD. According to some theories, the statues represent the ancestors who communicate with the spirits. Chile, with its Inca tradition, geography and culture, is truly an interesting country in every aspect. So, would you like to see the world's longest country? Please share your thoughts in the comments. It's very important to me. I'm looking forward to your support as I strive for 1000 subscribers. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to support me. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself.